Since it seems like I'm on such a roll today making videos, I guess I'll just keep things rolling with a brief little computer video. I'm sure that a number of you know what this is already, and for those of you that don't, this is a good old compact Deskpro EN. These are lovely little machines that came in a variety of different form factors. They came in this small form factor pizza box style. They came in a tower style that was convertible to a desktop. And they also came in a desktop style case. And as any of you who have watched my videos for a while know, I absolutely love these little machines. They're just tough as nails, they're reliable, they're not the fastest thing out there, and the 512 megabyte memory ceiling imposed by the Intel 815 chipset is definitely a limitation. But even so, these are great little workhorse machines as long as you choose their jobs appropriately. Well, I want to tell a little story about this one. This is one that I actually had to run up to work because we needed an FTP server, and we needed one quickly for internal use only. So, you know, no problems with outside security or anything like that. And this thing happened to have a copy of Windows 2000 Professional on it. So, being crunched for time and all that good stuff, and knowing that it was only going to be a temporary use, I just set up the Internet Information Services IIS FTP server module because that was good enough to get us through for the time being, and it worked admirably. I started this machine up in early January of 2010. I did not shut it down, reboot it, or anything else until over a year later, in late January, I think either late January, early February, somewhere in there. I did not shut it down or restart it once. That is right, folks. A Windows 2000 machine had more than a year's worth of uptime. And the only reason that I had to reboot it, it did not become unreliable in the slightest. I only had to reboot it because it physically had to be moved from one place to another. Other than that, this thing was just rock solid reliable, and it did get some minor use as a workstation from time to test things or do stuff like that. But like I say, this thing gave a very impressive account of itself. It was just amazing. So let's pop the cover on this thing and have a quick look at what's inside it, because I think this is not the first time this machine had done server duty. Now, one very nice thing about these machines is that they are practically completely toolless. There are some things in here that you have to have tools to get out, but you've got to get the machine down to a pretty stripped point before you're ready to break out the screwdrivers. The cover just comes off if you press these two latches. There's one on each side, and then it just slides off toward you. You can see that when I cleaned the machine up, the original information wore off, so I wrote the machine's serial number and equipment and the Windows 2000 and Windows NT workstation key numbers in here. But that's not the craziest thing about this machine. The reason why I think this thing was used as a server in a previous life is right here. Check this out. It says all kinds of, it has people's names on it here, like Rosie PC2, M Reed, S Ballard 1 and 2, and it says data. So my guess is that a lot of different people were storing data on this machine as a server. Now this looks like a Quantum hard drive. It's not. Curiously enough, when Quantum got out of the hard drive business, they sold their products off to Maxtor. And as far as I know, Maxtor basically immediately killed the line, but I guess they were bleeding off additional stock or something like that. And so there ended up being a few of these Quantum drives. You can't really see the label on this drive. Can't see it well, but maybe you can just barely make out the Maxtor logo underneath there. I have no idea. But this is a Quantum drive manufactured by Panasonic and I believe made in Ireland, of all places. It's a 30 gigabyte drive. It's noisy, but it still works, which is kind of amazing. But yeah, I really love these filing labels on here. Maybe these are labels for some kind of a tape. I really don't know. But that's pretty crazy, and this does appear to be the original hard drive for the machine. Of course, now I've got this drive cage tilted out. You can take a look at the motherboard in here. Pentium 3 1 gigahertz processor, 512 megabytes of PC 133 memory, the Intel 815 North Bridge. South Bridge is over there by the power supply fan. The dreaded, CMOS memory reset button. Ooh. Of course, I replaced the battery in this thing with a new one. The old one was still working. There's an expansion riser over there. This actually just lifts up and out of place. You can just click it out just like that. And there's a USB and a FireWire card. Tell you what, if you want some USB and FireWire cards, don't go to a store and pay an exorbitant price. Punch that into eBay and put the word lot after it, and you'll wind up with all the cards you can carry home for very little money. Oddly enough, the small form factor machines have NVIDIA, I believe this is a Riva 2 video adapter that's built into the motherboard. It's an AGP adapter. You can put an additional video card in these. In fact, I have. I've put in a late model 7000 something GeForce PCI card, but the PCI bus is going to be a bottleneck to high performance graphics. And the only reason I did that to that machine is because its onboard graphics quit. Luckily, the motherboard was smart enough, the rest of the working logic on the motherboard was smart enough to shut down the onboard video and let me go and use a video card with no ill effect. Of course, right here is the Compaq logo. I have a feeling this board was made by Foxconn. Check out that bicycle. That's kind of cool. I think they had these speed graded because the Pentium 4 Evo D500 and D510, they have, one of them has an island with trees on it, the other one has a race car. I guess that was the Compaq engineers using their sense of humor. Anyway, the power supply. You might need tools to remove the power supply. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I had one out. But there's the locking pin that locks the case on, and you can actually turn that on and off in System Setup. And what's more, System Setup seems to know the state of this thing. If you toggle this thing manually and it's set to off, then when the system starts up, it will reset it to whatever state it belongs in. And there, of course, is the motherboard. You can see that the motherboard's not long enough to extend to the second serial port, so a cable actually links it to the board. Well, that's about all there is. Just wanted to talk about the phenomenal uptime of this machine. It really surprised me. I did not really expect it to stay up that long. But that was quite impressive, and I wonder just how far it would have gone before it finally had to be restarted for some reason or another. Thank you for watching.